Hey guys, welcome to IPINKIT. My name is Ingrid. I spent 2 months in Turkey and the majority of the time I spent it in Istanbul. I feel like this is the vlog that everyone's been waiting for, so I cannot wait to take you along this trip with me and show you all the places I discovered in Istanbul. The first place I want to take you is Galata Kulesi, or the Tower of Galata. To get there, you can use the metro, taxi, or walk. Alright, so I just got off the bus and now I'm walking towards the Galata Tower. It's going to take about 8 minutes. So in this trail, you can find a few souvenirs you can shop for. I think I'm gonna come later after the tower. What makes Istanbul so charming is that it has belonged to different empires. Just with a little walk through the streets, you're going to be able to identify architecture from different times. So something curious about this tower is that when it was first built, they don't actually know exactly the day when it was built, but it was during the Constantinople days. So for those who don't know, Istanbul used to be the antique Constantinople. And then this original name was the Tower of Christ. However, throughout the years and through the different emperors that it has had, it has changed its purpose as well as its structure and then the name. During the summer period, the price increases. The first time that I went, I only paid 30 liras. The second time, during the month of July, I paid 100 liras. So I'm not sure how much the ticket is going to cost. As you know, things have changed a little bit because of COVID, so you're also going to need to have your HES code available to enter this attraction. Basically, to come in, it's only 30 Turkish liras, but I also wanted to get the audio guide, and for that you have to pay 25 liras. That way, I feel like when you go through each section of the tower, let me show you. And when you go through each section, you can actually select the number and hear the history about it. As I mentioned, the construction of the Galata Tower started during the Byzantine period. However, the tower itself was finalized during the Genoese period, with only 5 floors, no observatory deck, or a cone. During the Ottoman Empire days, the tower served as a prison, and it was during this period that the observatory was added at the top of the tower. During the 1800s, the tower took its current shape, with 7 floors, a conical-shaped tip, and the observatory deck. You know, this lookout was actually one of the latest additions to the tower. So right now it is used as a touristy attraction. But back then, during the Ottoman Empire days, it was actually used as a lookout because it has like a 360 view of all Istanbul, so they were able to spot any fires within the city. The tower has been restored several times because of the earthquakes and the fires that took place in the city of Istanbul. Okay, it is now time to leave the Galata Tower. Now that I've been inside, I have to admit one thing. I don't think the audio is necessary because they only have like a few things that you can research. I wouldn't recommend it. I think this is one of the best views that you're going to get, but also it's my first touristy attraction that I visit. So right now I'm heading towards the Galata Tower ticket office because they still have my ID. In order for you to be able to rent them, you have to leave something in. Then once you give it back, they'll give you your ID back. One other place I want to visit, it's called Balad, so I'm heading that way right now. I'm going to take the bus because I intended for this day to explore that option and see if it's actually cheaper. This is actually really funny, but here in Istanbul, buses don't come at the time they're supposed to come. You can imagine the traffic is hectic, but what can you expect for a city that has 16 million people? I've learned I just have to be a little patient, make sure that I pay attention, otherwise I miss my bus and I have to wait another 20 minutes to get a new one, or sometimes even 30. The neighborhood of Balad is not a touristy attraction, however, I will recommend it for you to come if you love like these hipster places, like down-to-earth neighborhoods that are super colorful and full of cafes and restaurants. It's honestly really nice if you just want to come, sit down and escape the city for a little while. What's interesting about this neighborhood is that you're going to find a blend of cultures. You're going to see the remainings of the old Greek Orthodox school, which, fun fact, if you see it from above, it has the shape of an eagle. But also you're going to find basilicas, synagogues, Byzantine churches, and the remainings of the houses that used to host the Jewish, Greek, and Armenian communities in the city. Okay, this is a place that I actually found because of Instagram. Honestly, houses look pretty, but the disappointing thing is that it's only 4 of them. And I genuinely thought that it was the whole street. It was honestly a really nice area to explore, but I didn't feel as safe as it was super empty, so I couldn't trust people. I ended up leaving, took a bus to return home, and I called it a day. Today, I'm going to go explore Hagia Sophia with my mom. So there are a few ways that you can get to this place. So one is going to be by walking, which is going to take a very long time, especially because I'm in Beşiktaş. And then the other one is getting a metro, so an Istanbul transport card in order to be able to get there. But I am feeling a little lazy and I don't want to do that, so I just think I'm gonna take a taxi. I just think it's the easiest and it's about $5 to get there. To get a taxi, I use the Uber app. Now let's learn about Hagia Sophia. The construction of Hagia Sophia took place during the years 532 and 537 after Christ. It represents a brilliant moment in Byzantine architecture and art. When Istanbul was known as Constantinople, the capital of the Roman Empire, Hagia Sophia served as the principal church. One travel tip I can give you is head to Seven Hills Cafe. You're going to be able to catch views of the Bosphorus, Topkapi Palace, Hagia Sophia, and Sultanahmet. I made it to Hagia Sophia. This is how it looks. Right now, there's like a little queue in order for you to enter. So during the prayer times, you cannot go inside, but after that, it is possible to do so. So the interesting thing about this church is that during the Constantinople days, it used to be a Catholic church. So it has changed its purpose throughout the years. After it was a Catholic church, it became an Orthodox church because the Greeks were the ones that were in control of the city. And after that, during the Ottoman Empire years, it became a mosque. So it looks like what it is now. It has obviously been through some refurbishment throughout the years, and also it was used as a museum, but just last year the government decided to open it again as a mosque. Now that Hagia Sophia is no longer a museum, you have to be respectful when entering the mosque. For me, that means wearing a hijab. Honestly, I had no idea how to wear one, but I got very lucky these 2 ladies outside the mosque were able to teach me how to wear one. Moments like this one remind me that the differences can be celebrated and appreciated. That is, with gratitude, an open heart, and curiosity, you're able to learn the beautiful things from others, even if you don't speak the language. To enter the praying section, you have to take off your sandals. Outside, they have lockers where you can place your shoes. Taking control of the city of Istanbul was key for any emperor who wanted to have access to the Asian and European side. Since Hagia Sophia took such an important place during the Byzantine period, the dream of Mehmed II was to be able to repurpose Hagia Sophia as a mosque, following the teachings of the Prophet. Hagia Sophia reflects the religious changes that have played out in the region over the centuries, with the minarets and inscriptions of Islam, as well as the lavish mosaics of Christianity. If Hagia Sophia happens to be your first attraction, one thing you cannot miss is the ice cream show. I happen to be allergic to dairy, wheat, so I wasn't able to get it. However, my mom is not, so she gave it a try. The thing that happens with the shows is that they take about 5 minutes to give you an ice cream cone. I know, it is crazy. Now you can see Sultanahmet or the Blue Mosque, Hagia Sophia, and right behind it is the Topkapi Palace. Alright guys, I'm inside. One interesting thing is that I actually haven't paid anything yet. So we are in the courtyard. Let me actually tell you how it used to happen. So during the Ottoman Empire years, there used to have a parade over here. So once they came back from the wars, they will all come triumphant through this parade and to celebrate in this courtyard. So this courtyard was used to like wait for them, or even to host any ceremony, or even to host any ceremonies. So it's pretty interesting how things have changed now, but now this is open as a museum. And the sultans used to live here until they moved to another residency, the Dolmabahce Palace. This happened during the Ottoman Empire days. Here we can continue to appreciate how big the gardens were. And before I say something else, to go inside the palace, yes, you have to pay. This is one of the most expensive attractions in Istanbul. I only paid for the entrance fee, which was 200 liras, but if I wanted to get the audio guide, I would have paid close to 50 euros. One interesting fact about this palace is that there are over 300 rooms. One of those serve as the main room of the Sultan, some serve as the rooms for the Sultan wives, others as the circumcision room, the kitchen, 2 mosques, and that's just to name a few. Now that it serves as a museum, you'll be able to find collections that the sultans used to use for drinking coffee, preparing tea. The sultans are actually responsible for a lot of the customs that you now see in Turkey. When you visit the country, you'll be able to realize that they have a big culture around coffee and tea. However, citizens didn't used to drink them. Coffee beans, spices, these were all so expensive and only attainable to the sultans. Another fact is that the sultans were the first ones that started using cutlery. In the museum, you'll be able to find those collections as well as some of the plates that still have the inscriptions of the initials of the sultans on them. Out of all the rooms that were open to the public, the library was my favorite. It was honestly very peaceful, and in the walls you can observe the mosaics that are very traditional in mosque. And as hard as it is to believe that this is so easy accessible to the public, this library actually contains some of the most important documents and manuscripts pertaining to the Ottoman and Islamic history. The most fascinating fact I found inside this palace was the mosque. I could not believe how much history of Christianity and Islam is inside of it. Alright guys, so I just got out of this section. Honestly, it was quite intriguing. I had no idea that over here they have lots of items from prophets. Over here in Islam, they call, like, for example, Abraham, the prophet Abraham, which I learned he's the one that started Judaism, Christianity, and also Islam. So they have like articles like the wooden stick. They even had the sword of King David. That's what we call it in Catholicism, but over here they call him the Prophet David. So they had lots of items that I had no idea were here. So super interesting. They don't allow to take any pictures inside. Sadly, that's why I cannot show you. But if you come here, this is a must see. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover because I lost the audio of this clip. But I'm doing a boat tour, which is super exciting as you're able to see Istanbul at nighttime. They take you around the Bosphorus for 3 hours, show you entertainment, and serve you food, which is not allergy friendly or vegan. Obviously, I ate before coming. This is how it looks in the inside. COVID measures? I would say none. Honestly, this is probably one of the best things I've done because you get to see the city at nighttime, and Istanbul has already stole my heart. But you guys, so over here behind me you can see the Bosphorus. It's already like light up, but as well here you have all the Asian side. Over here is the European, but it has a little bit of people over here. But gosh, like, it is beautiful. I just love it here. For the entertainment, this tour started with a Sofi whirling dervish. This is a meditation dance practiced among Islam. It allows you to connect spiritually with God through dance. This is why they're constantly looking up to the sky and raising their hands. Then it followed with some traditional dances. They lasted for, I would say, about an hour. And the entertainment finalized with a belly dancer. Since I'm staying in Beşiktaş, the Mediye Mosque, it's nearby, but also the Bosphorus, which is right here. The Mediye Mosque is an emblematic location in Ortaköy. This mosque is relatively smaller than the others you'll find in Istanbul, as it only consists of a 2-story sultan apartment. Another typical sightseeing of Istanbul is going to be the cats. Honestly, look at this one, just hanging out in the mosque. Right across the mosque, you're going to find a little shop where you can get some souvenirs. I would recommend you to come here because the prices are going to be way more affordable than if you try to go to other touristy attractions in Istanbul. Now that we're talking about shopping, I cannot leave outside of this vlog the Grand Bazaar. This happens to be the largest and also the oldest covered market in the world, with 61 covered streets and over 4,000 shops where you can get anything from rugs, pillows, lamps, spices, soaps, literally anything you can think of. But you have to negotiate, otherwise the prices are gonna be very expensive. There is probably one attraction I failed to include in this vlog, and that is the terraces. I felt like it was kind of a scam and it just felt so fake because it's a studio and they Photoshop the seagulls. So I was like, it's just not going to be the best way to capture my memories from Istanbul, but I know one day when I return, I'm going to be taking those pictures where you can go to the terrace, see the Bosphorus views in the background, and then the Photoshop seagulls, because you don't get them all the time. But if there's one place that you would love to do so, then I would recommend you this one. It is called Tad Istanbul, and here you can have a photo shoot with the traditional costume as well as the Photoshop seagulls. You know, one funny thing that happened to me is that I wanted to try my best to live in Istanbul as a local. So I got to practice very basic Turkish, but also I didn't get to see all the touristy attractions. So I didn't go to the Dolmabahce Palace, and despite having been so many times to Sultanahmet in the outside, I didn't get to see it in the inside. So the thing that happened with the Blue Mosque is that every time that I would go, it was closed during praying or cleaning sections. Not sections, but times. So I couldn't see it, but now I know that next time that I go back to Istanbul, I'm going to be seeing those two attractions. The other thing is that the Basilica Cistern, it was closed due to remodelations that they're doing right now, so I wasn't even able to see it. So there were a few tourist attractions that were closed. However, if you're into eating all of the local food and discovering just all the hidden gems, you're going to enjoy your time in Istanbul. Thank you guys for coming along with me. I know this was just a little bit of everything you can see in Istanbul, but I truly enjoy my time and I love getting to share it with all of you. So if you would love to continue watching more vegan and allergy-friendly recipes and vlogs, make sure that you subscribe to IPINKIT. All you need to do is click this red button down your screen, hit the bell once if you want to receive notifications every time I upload a video. I cannot wait to see you next week. And that is, until next time, maybe one day, we'll find each other in Istanbul.